side, you click here, Jade Marks and Uploads. And over here, search my library, Jade Marks. And this is just showing you some of the different, a couple of cases I've been looking at lately. So for this case, Rogers and Whittaker, I actually allocated Ratio and Obiter. If you're a former student of mine, you'll know that we actually had an assessment on that case. So we were going through that in that case. So here, I've got a list now of my Jade Marks. I can see the relevant portion of the text that I highlighted, and I can also see how I have allocated it. So what my annotation is, and if I've added a comment, you'll be able to see that there. And then you've got the option of actually printing this page. So you can print or download this page. And then you can, print a Jade Mark report, and that's going to print out this page, which is really, really helpful. Because then you've got your notes, you've got a set of notes, utilizing the Jade Mark, so you don't have to copy and paste everything into a Word document. You could, this is fantastic because you'll actually have the text as was written by the court in the wording of the court, and then you'll have your own annotations, tags, color coding, comments, and so forth, which I think is really, really wonderful. Let's have a look at some of the other features as well. You can also do a visualization as well, which I find really, really interesting. Visualizations, this isn't the one I want to look at. I was looking at some other ones earlier, but you could have a play with this. There are options to do visualizations where you can actually see different cases next to one another, and the different jurisdictions as well, and it's a really interesting way to engage with the case. So maybe I'll post up another video another time where I go through visualizations. I think it warrants its own discussion. So anyway, I thought I would just take you through Jade today, just to show you some of the features. It's a really, really good database to work with. Remember, you can also use the Jade browser function, and you can browse by different collections, by different topics, areas of law, and so forth. This is a fantastic database. This is my favorite one, and I usually use this in combination with LexisNexis Advance, and I'll use both of those databases usually to read cases. But just imagine, in the future, imagine being able to actually speak to this and, say, hey, voice assistant, or whatever the trigger word is, summarize the facts of the case. And it's probably going to pull some information from the catchwords section and from the summary that generally appears at the top of judgments. Imagine if you're able to say, hey, voice assistant, tell me which cases have subsequently applied this case. And if it was able to just tell you right then and there, rather than you having to go through the process that I'm sure you're aware of having to figure that out. Imagine if you could actually engage with these cases in that way and being able to actually speak to it. Imagine if you were reviewing legislation and you were able to say to the voice assistant, hey, voice assistant, I'd like to engage in a statutory interpretation exercise. You then pick your methodology based on the jurisdiction and the relevant court. Let's say you were using the spiral methodology. You could then say, tell me some of the plausible constructions for this section. And maybe it would define a construction. You could say, define a broader construction, define a narrower construction. What is the narrowest construction that is plausible? I know, the options are just, limitless in a sense. Imagine if you could then say, when you get to the point of looking at the wider context, if you could say, pull up an international case, a case from the United States where they considered a similar wording. I mean, the options for this, using voice to interact with law, I think are endless in terms of how we could engage with cases, how we could engage with legislation and go through interpretation exercises. So I'm really excited about watching what happens in the legal tech space, because I think, law practice in the future is going to be a lot more interesting for all of you, and you're going to be using a lot more technology. So it's something to, have a play around with now. The text to voice, see what you think. Let me know. I'm interested in what you think of this. It just might not work for you, and you might be better off just reading the case. That's fine. Everyone's different, but I mean, I personally, as someone who has to do more than one thing at a time, and I can't sit there and just do one thing at a time, to be able to listen to a case whilst making notes, to be able to listen to a case walking around, going for a walk, to be able to even just sit in complete silence and not do anything and just close my eyes and listen, is a really, really cool thing. That's something that I didn't utilize when I was studying my law degree. It's nothing that fancy. I mean, text to voice or voice to text is not new. It's been around for ages. But I've always, I guess, thought of it in terms of, this is not something you utilize if you can read. If you can read, you would not utilize text to voice. Maybe it's time we start rethinking that and start seeing the potential opportunities that we have in utilizing these kinds of technologies, and how it could make our lives a lot easier, make our workflow a lot better. So have a go at checking out some of these functions, some of these tools. There's so much more to this. I might come back with other little videos at some point. And good luck with your studies, and I hope it goes really well, and hope to see you in future studies and in the JD program.